So I guess my real reason for writing for children and YA readers is that I've always enjoyed reading, whether that was reading quietly to myself or reading a bedtime story to my own teddy bears out aloud. I've always enjoyed reading, and books have always surrounded me. And I always use books as a sense of adventurous escapism. And even now as an author, when I'm penning my own books, I always imagine that there's someone somewhere that's also doing the same thing and using my books as a sense of adventure. Yes, I am proudly coming from a Jamaican background, and yes, obviously you can hear the British accent. I'm a Londoner. My mother is a Jamaican born and bred, and she came out to pursue her career in medicine in the late 60s, and then a few years later, she had me, the wash belly. And then after I graduated from university about roughly 4.5 years ago, we decided to come out here, out of plan, and ever since then I can actually say that Jamaica is definitely my home. And I think there's a reason for that. I think it's really to do with the people and the colourful culture. And again, my reason for writing for the young audience using Jamaican protagonists, because there are great fictional and non-fictional Jamaican books out there, but just not enough. And when I was younger growing up, I really wanted more books that represented the Jamaican heritage and my culture, and I just couldn't find any. So I guess here's my opportunity to write what I see and live. Up to about age 10 or 11, I actually wanted to be a ballerina and then some. And so I went to a ballet boarding school in Brighton, Hove, and I guess I gave up on it up till I reached about point work, because I really just didn't like the idea of having to dance endless, painless hours on your toes and then having to nurse your toes because it was bleeding. So yeah, yuck. They're both balanced. I wouldn't say one is harder than the other. It just takes a lot of careful planning. Writing for children or writing children's picture books, there is definitely a stigma attached that, you know, anyone can write for children, and it doesn't take long to plan. But as we all know, kids' attention span, you know, once you lose it, you know, literally, it's gone. So you really need to know how to keep their attention. So then you need to think of the visuals as well. And when you're actually writing for them, you've got to think to yourself, is the message in the book, is the message in the story, how about the morals as well as the visuals as well. So it may take maybe literally less than 5 minutes to think of the concept, but to actually put everything else into deriving to a great visual book, it does take a lot of planning. Writing for the YA audience, you're writing for a little bit more of an advanced readership, so they can give you a little bit more time for you to actually get to the point, you know, a chapter in, but then you've got to think about the branding, because gone are the days that an author can just really write one YA book. Usually we tend to write a series, so you've got to think of the long term, and you need to think of the branding of the series as well. So that takes a lot of careful planning. You've got to think of the plot, you've got to think of the characters, the main characters, the feel of the story, and what you intend maybe for volume 2, volume 3, and volume 7 and 8. So there's a lot of planning, a lot of long-term planning, but altogether, I would say both are equally balanced. And if you don't know what a Pinny Wally is, then you definitely need to get this book. Stop. What are you doing?
I'm just recording.
And if you don't know what a Pinny Wally is, then you definitely need to get this book. So that's a wrap. That's me, my 5 fabulous, wonderful facts about me. And if you want to find out more about me and to find out more about my titles, then please follow the links in my description box, or look out for me on Facebook, which is DM Young Books on Facebook. Bye.